Welcome to the Wandering Road, a place where the unseen moves all around us. The stories you'll hear aren't just whispered legends. They're shadows that cling, footsteps that follow, and whispers that never fade. Every turn pulls you closer to the unknown, and once you've heard what waits here, the night will never feel the same again.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Wandering Road podcast. I'm your host Chris. That is my co-host Dean. How you doing, buddy?
Dying inside, but hey, hanging in there. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Dude, how was your holiday season? We haven't talked since, what was it, the 23rd or the week before that? I can't remember.
I think it was before that because I don't think we recorded or talked like right up before Christmas. So it's been a while. It's been a minute.
Yeah.
But
So,
dude, yeah, holidays were great. I guess when you're a parent, especially to young kids, and like a lot of people, if you don't have kids, you probably don't realize this, but like unless you have like nieces and nephews or whatever, but you kind of get to relive your childhood in like holiday season time, because there's that time period between like your mid 20s to whenever you have small kids, or if you ever like after your mid 20s, I feel like Christmas and any other holiday drastically diminishes for a lot of people in terms of excitedness and like fun and stuff. So you get to relive that. So like I've been living that more and more every Christmas, and Christmases have been getting better and better, I think. But yeah, it's just like no one tells you growing up like the amount of effort you have to put into making Christmas at least kind of fun for your kids. Like, decorations, trees, wrapping the presents, getting the right presents, and Santa Claus cookies, leaving reindeer stuff like for the reindeer outside. Like all that stuff is really fun, but it's just freaking taxing, man. I keep telling my daughter that Hawaii is like Santa Claus's favorite place to go, because this is where he comes to chill out and throw the shaka after he delivers to all the little boys and girls across the globe.
Hawaii's the last stop.
Yeah, like he comes here and like takes a good solid month on the beach just chilling.
Before we get into today's episode, dude, this news article, it's going to get kind of morbid, people, very quickly. We're going to go
You found
from
a story.
Dean's happy Christmas with his daughter to
Surprise! Death.
surprise. So I'm just going to read the headline of the article. Horror movie comes to life. Cops find more than 100 skeletal remains in PA man's.
Boom.
100 skeletal
100.
remains. Yeah. So this is in Yeadon, PA in Lancaster County. And this guy is facing 500 charges after investigators say they discovered more than 100 human skeletal remains in his home. Officers say the Tuesday night arrest of 34-year-old Jonathan Gerlach culminated in a months-long investigation into break-ins at Mount Moriah Cemetery in Yeadon, where at least 26 mausoleums and vaults had been forcefully opened since early November.
Here's how you know you're a millennial in 2026. When you first hear that headline and you immediately think like, oh God, a serial killer. Oh my God, he's killed so many people. This is awful. Oh my God, I can't. And then you hear, oh, well, actually, he didn't kill anybody. He just stole the remains. And then you're like, oh, thank God. Oh, it's not so bad.
Then it's like, what did he do with the remains?
But,
What did he do with it?
We're living through so much shit all the time now, like death, murder, killing, death for years now, war. And then I think that, if this was 50 years ago and somebody found that somebody was stealing like hundreds of remains, it would be like, a national headline, like travesty. Oh my God, how can this happen? This is terrible. But now it's like, wait, he didn't kill anybody. He just took the remains. Oh, okay. It's not as bad as 50 children being gunned down. It's like, that's how you know you're a millennial in 2026, when you feel that way.
I think I heard about this yesterday night. When I heard that it was 100 skeletal remains in his home, I was like, I was with you. I'm like, holy crap. Was there a serial killer? Like, how? Yeah. And then you come to find out that this dude's been going to this damn cemetery that's been around since 1855. And they actually caught him on his way back to his car with a crowbar in hand and
a bag full of money.
And a bag, which officers found. Yeah, a burlap bag in which officers found the mummified remains of 2 small children, 3 skulls, and other bones. The perpetrator told investigators he took about 30 sets of human remains and he
Mm.
actually showed the graves that he stole.
This-
Detectives said that they walked into a horror movie come to life the other night. They understand that some of these are 200 years old, some much newer, and one of them still had a damn pacemaker attached to the body.
I would guess you would remove that during the autopsy phase, but this is a dark end version of Scooby-Doo. I just imagine him like with a burlap sack and like a crowbar, like, because come on, burlap sack, really? Burlap? And he's like creeping through like, and then the cops are like, hold it right there, chum. We got you, finally. Tell me, what's the name? Hold on. What's the name of the Facebook group though? Human Bones and Skull Selling Group.
Human Bones and Skull Selling Group. Which,
And
how
many people? How many people do you
over
think?
5,300 people in that Facebook group.
5,000 people. Public group. Well, okay. I know most of the people there like legit collectors where you actually have to put forth to the state or the federal government like requests to sell certain human body parts, and there is a channel to do that legally. But this makes me wonder though.
Wait.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
How do you legally sell human remains? How do
It's a
you
very
obtain
niche-
them? Clearly, this guy has his own damn way to do it, but
So my guess, my gut, now that I say all this out loud, is he looks like someone you would expect from like a dark movie to be like, yeah, man, we're gonna summon the Dark Lord at midnight. But I don't think
let's not
I
be
don't
judgmental.
Yeah, no, I know. Hold on. I know. But what I'm saying is like this guy is like really like the way he takes his photo. Anyway, I don't think that he's ritualistic in the situation. I think that this has like airs of trying to sell to collectors for money. That's my guess. I think he was doing this to try to make bank. Not to like summon anything.
I could just imagine. I'm not gonna look up the group. I have no interest in looking up the group. I could only imagine what like his advertising posts were like. Mummified remains of 1890s Victorian child. Bid starting at $3,000.
Probably.
Stand. Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. Any of our listeners or viewers a human bone collector? Let us know.
Or don't,
Or don't.
Either
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a secret.
I retract that. I don't want to know.
We don't want to know. I mean, not to judge people who are like, if you are into anthropology and like
that's different.
Like to learn about that's a legit okay, but like there's also like another percentage of chance that you're like this guy, and then we'll just nip it in the bud and be like,
yeah, I don't need a knock on my door. Okay.
By the way, people have you been seeing the TikToks lately about like people getting so angry and pissed off at other people's comments or interactions, they actually track them down? I saw a video of
right. I did.
You saw that, right?
Yes.
I don't know if you sent that to me, but there was like a video of like some guy throwing shade in a comment on X about I forget what it was about, but he was basically like giving shit to somebody who went through a tragic situation, and then it cuts out to the TikTok video cuts out to another guy, and the guy like has this other guy's police file pulled up in the background, and he's like, "Oh, really? So and so, like, why did you beat your wife in XX, 2025 or whatever?" And it's like, whoa, fuck, you can't even call people out anymore because like you can track people down super easy, find their information if you know how to do it, and then either find them or shame them.
That's the crazy thing with technology nowadays, man. Did you see that one thing where the lady, like some guy was being rude in the comments and she like drove 3 hours to his workplace?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And was like, yeah, is this you? This was how easy I could find you.
You see how easy I found you? Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're dedicated enough, there's tons of things that people can use out there. But back to this weirdo. So the good thing is this guy's being held on $1 million of bail, and his hearing is set for January 20th. But they're still doing investigations. I'm sure that that group is going to be heavily investigated.
Yeah.
Because if he's part of that group, he's probably not the only one selling stuff there that's actually doing this. And it must be so disheartening. And I know most of the bones were probably from the 1800s, but it's still like rude and disrespectful. But for the ones that are recent, it's like you bury your loved one with the expectation their remains are not going to be disturbed. But
Right.
here we have people like this doing stuff like this. And I will say, dude, stuff like this, when it happens, it's much more terrifying. And to me, it's more creepier than any type of demonic story or exorcism story we could cover.
Yeah.
Because this is literally somebody that I have in custody right now.
You also have to consider the fact that he went under the radar for so long.
Right.
And what did we say before the start of the podcast? Like, if this kind of thing is going on at this level of society, where this can
Uh-huh.
be unseen and unheard of for so long, imagine the layers and layers of shit that's going on. You wonder why there's like 1 million+ people missing. Like men, women, and children just go missing. I don't know what
Dude,
I forget the metrics. We looked it up one time a while ago.
we did. I don't know if this map was BS or someone just made it up and tossed it on the internet like most people do. I didn't source it, so I don't know if you decided to look into it at all. The map of like where people go missing, and there's like it's if you
The
put it on
cave
top of
system.
like the cave system. I didn't.
Mm.
Is that legitimate?
I've
I don't
heard
know.
I've heard two sides. I've heard legit and I've heard not so legit. But I think that you could probably attribute a lot of the disappearances to clusters around areas like that, because people, I mean, think about it. If you are running an literal underground criminal organization,
Sure.
you're probably going to utilize shit like that, at least to cover yourself initially, to go do something like traffic humans or let me tell you something. Human trafficking, it's way crazier you could possibly imagine. It's so, and we're not even just like in our minds as just like people in society, there is a portion of that dark realm of human trafficking that's like the movie, say like the movie Taken, where you have the his daughter's stolen in France by somebody and sold to like ultra rich and Knocked Up. That sort of shit happens too, but a lot of the times it's out in the open, in the sense that you have people coming from foreign lands, and they give over their documents, right? They think they're coming to work somewhere, they're going somewhere to work legit, and then they get their documents taken from them, and then they're just stuck there.
Yep.
And then the person who's holding them is like, hey, you either work for me for X amount of dollars or years for minimum, sometimes it's SCX related stuff, and if you don't do that, I'm going to keep you here indefinitely, and you're never going to see your family again and stuff. That, like, those people operate out in the open, and they can't go get help from anybody easily. So like, that's the scarier one, in my opinion, is you are literally bound in front of other people who could like literally save you, or they might want to save you, but they can't act fast enough to help you. Like, it's in a lot of cases. So that's way scarier to me than being absconded, or like more likely than being absconded away into a cave system and sold into like, $1 million Sultan slave trade labor. At least,
Right?
I mean, yeah.
Maybe we'll get into the main topic, but since we're on the topic of like this dark, morbid stuff, I have a weird story to share with you.
Awesome.
So, when I was in grad school, I was friends with this gentleman. He is a very outdoorsy dude. He likes to hike. So, him and his friends decide to hike the Appalachian Trail. They're hiking on the trail and they find these bones and they're checking them out. And they're like, wait, these are human remains. Because they found that. So legally, you have to report that to the authorities. Because where they were at, there was no cell reception. So they had to go out onto the main road and finally get some cell service, call the police. And I guess like a state trooper came out and like the coroner came out and all these different people. And apparently, the remains was of this person that went missing that was involved in like some like drug type of thing,
Oh, wow.
which is crazy.
This is why I love doing this, because you literally just, man, this is probably the 12th time this has happened. I have a memory that just came back, and it's a really minor one. It's probably not even significant, but it's crazy
did
because
you
I was
do?
like, when I was like 11 years old, right? So like, I lived in an area growing up, I could go out and wander. There was like a tree line, there were like woods nearby and stuff like that. So sometimes my friends and I, when we were young, especially in the summertime, we would just go walk and kind of just explore. And this one time we came across a mason jar. It was a pretty big mason jar. It's probably like, I want to say like a liter. It was pretty big. And it was filled with this translucent liquid, but it was kind of pinkish, but you could still see through it pretty well. And there was like a big chunk of something in the mason jar that did not look. There was nothing on the jar. It was bare. There was no label. I remember we saw that. To this day, the only image I have is like a glob of something flesh looking, and we didn't know what. To this day, I can't imagine what it would be. Even as an adult, thinking back, I'm like, well, maybe, I don't know, Pigfoot.
You didn't open
but it was
it,
like
did you?
no, we did not, because I knew
Okay.
if we opened it, like I think I remember thinking back then, like if we smashed it or it opened up somehow, we could like die from the fumes, which is not true. But you're a kid, so you're thinking like, oh, we don't know what's in there. So I just remember we looked at it for a good 2 minutes, like, what is this? It's so, and we didn't have phones or cameras back then, so like we couldn't just snap a picture, and then we just left it alone. And I literally haven't thought about that in God knows how many years, 30 plus years. I don't even know how, or 25 years. I haven't thought about that. Now I wonder if that was a body part in there,
Who
or why
knows?
someone would put ritualistic, maybe. I don't know. It was just in the middle of the woods. So weird.
Yeah. Okay. So it was a piece of flesh
Mm-hmm.
in the middle of the woods in liquid. What did it look like? Like, what did the hunk of meat look like?
It was totally irregular. It was indistinguishable. It was like fatter on one, like the top part was fatter and the bottom part was maybe curved a little bit. Just to be clear, I don't think it was like anything like a fetus or something like that, but it was definitely something that was not organic.
Yeah, you probably found like a cursed item. Well, thankfully you didn't open it.
Yeah, probably more likely is someone just wanted to mess with some people, and like maybe it was like another group of kids, older kids, and they're like, hey, let's put this, let's put this handball in this liquid and make people think that it's some terrible cursed thing, and we'll just leave it in the woods. It'll be some practical funny joke. We did things like that when we were kids. We would leave some practical like joke somewhere, but it was like one of those things where you're never going to see the person react to it. You just do it and just leave it. I don't know.
Not for me, not where I grew up.
No. Really? Not in the Bronx? You never just messed.
I had no freaking woods to put stuff in and bury stuff in.
Just leave it on the corner of 5th and 8th.
What could you do? You could like pee in a beer bottle and put the
Throw
cap
it out
back
the
on
window.
it or something. I don't know. Which I'm sure someone out there has done that.
Oh my god, dude.
But yeah, I'm sure if you opened it, it would have just stank. It would have just been disgust. This putrid smell. Yeah,
Probably.
exactly.
Oh,
Yeah. Speaking of gagging, you
nice segue.
You decided to share with me that for the New Year's Eve celebration, all these like yachts converge together on this island, and there's this massive
Saint Baths.
Massive outbreak of chlamydia.
Not just chlamydia, my friend. Super
AI. Super?
That's the way it was tagged.
It's the AI power.
Yeah. So here's the thing, man.
Chlamydia partnership with Gemini.
We bring to you the strongest, best STI ever. Here's the thing. I cannot like this sucks, dude. Everything we have to talk about is caveated, because I saw that for like less than 5 minutes. I saw several videos and consumed them for less than 5 minutes. So I don't know if this is a real thing or not. Like it could be, someone took some random story about some rich person getting a facial bacterial infection and posting about it, and then they just run with it and call it like super chlamydia. But so I don't know if it's completely legit. It would be really funny if it was, because we know that promiscuous based parties happen in places among the ultra rich, and when I think about eyes wide shut kind of parties, which apparently do exist, because we've heard secondhand stories of people who have been close to those types of parties and stuff. So that really does
like
happen.
a Diddy party.
Yeah, exactly. Even better example, baby oil party, or the freak off. What do they call it? So I think that this story has a lot of merit to it, which is kind of I don't care how mean or bad you are. I try not to laugh at other people's misfortune, but at the same time, it's kind of like you hear stories alongside stories like this, and I'll tell you one quick one. So at St. Bart's Island, where all of the ultra wealthy, like the billionaire club, all of their yachts converge for New Year's, they have this massive New Year's blowout. There has to be workers there, right? There has to be people who can cater to them on their every whim and stuff, which is probably constant. So you need actual, probably like ranks and ranks of regular working people. And
You couldn't pay
apparently,
me enough to work at one of those places.
not even $100,000 a night.
No.
So yeah, so you have to have these ranks and ranks of workers, and I imagine that. And you were saying like, oh, you can't pay me enough. Just hear me out for a second. So apparently
The answer is no.
billionaires. Okay, that's fine. I have my price. Whatever. I have children to pay for. Okay. If you want to offer me $100,000 to lay naked on a bed and then pin something on my ass and do no more than that, fine. That's fine. I'm going to put my kids through college for free. If whatever, I got to do it for my baby girls, man. My baby girls, I got to do it. I do have a limit though. No taking appendages, even if it's like a fingertip, you're not going to there's no amount of money that can get this pinky off my finger. Okay. So, or my hand. There's no amount of money. Maybe $10 million. Snap. No, I'm not. Okay. Hold on. Let me back up. I'm going off the rails here. So apparently there are people who work on islands like this, St. Bart's, and some of them claim, not verified, that billionaires occasionally, and not every billionaire, I know there's good billionaires, probably, hopefully, at least one. There's at least one that, anyway.
And it's Bruce Wayne, who's fictional, but go on.
Bruce Wayne. Okay. So apparently, if you get approached by a billionaire and you're working on someplace like St. Bart's, and they try to requisition your services for the evening, hey, come join our party. We want to have some. We want to tap into our normal roots. Going back to when we first started, and so we want to get some normal people that are like people, not normal, but like good people there. If you come along, we'll play games, we'll have drinks, we'll have fun, and all that stuff. You can join in. But apparently, the claim is that there are some nefarious intentions going on with that, and not like deadly intentions per se, but like they just want to make fun of you, kind of. And it reminds me of there's an old movie, I don't know if you remember it. It's called Dinner for Schmucks. Have you ever seen that? I suck with names. Who's the guy who plays Ant-Man, who I love? I can't remember his name right now. I know him.
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd. Thank you. I know you, Paul Rudd. I know who you are. I just suck with remembering names sometimes. But Paul Rudd apparently did like, he had some things to say, but anyway, so like, without going off on a tangent, these sorts of parties apparently happen where the ultra wealthy try to like get normal people, and they like kind of poke fun and play games with them. So long story short, this kid goes in and it's pin the tail on the poor person. So apparently you get buck ass naked. The party starts off normal, like, woo, like drinking and we're having fun, and then it gets more rowdy, and they're like, hey, poor person, or they don't say that, but like, hey, you, I'll give you $100,000 if you lay down on the bed and let me pin a tail on you. Woo! And like, this was all the intention from the beginning. And then the person who's into it, they're like, $100,000, of course. Yeah, let me just lay down and just get this, thing it's not actually a pin going into my butt. It's just,
this story
hasty.
just killed our PG rating in general. So
okay. fuck.
Next episode,
okay, so
we'll go back to PG.
Next, we'll go. Okay, PG, promise kids. But yeah, so that's in a nutshell. That's what, and this is the perfect segue into our primary discussion, I think, because in all seriousness, about 30 minutes in, finally, the last 10 seconds, we'll get to the main topic. At least it's 50-50. But seriously, like, this is a great segue because you have a picture or an insight into the minds of people who become ultra wealthy, even people who start on the lower rungs, like you and me, like people who start off normal and they get this insane amount of wealth and they operate within that sphere for many years. It changes it can change your mind. It can change your perception of other people easily. And what was our example? Like Caligula, something like that. What would happen if Caligula had all the power in the world? He could literally do whatever he wanted. He would probably kill swaths of people. Yeah. Imagine like global though, like robots and shit. He would probably kill most, like, and whatever, but we're going to get into that with AI. And therefore I will toss it over to you, my friend.
Okay. The point of today's show before it started off morbidly and got progressively worse. Not worse quality-wise, but worse in the stories that we cover.
Margin.
A lot of AI is being pushed right now. Like AI,
Mhm.
like literally I was going through my social media feed and it's like, welcome Gemini to Gmail. I don't want Gemini on Gmail. I don't want Copilot
Copilot. Yeah.
on my personal machine.
I
I
haven't
don't
used
want
Copilot
any
once.
of this stuff. And it's just this constant pushing of AI and stuff like Nvidia, like, oh, we're going full on AI. And it's kind of scary. And the reason I say that, it's because this is where we get to a realistic doomsday scenario. So
Mhm.
every sci-fi doomsday scenario is like, what is it? Space Odyssey 2001. I can't allow you to do that type of
Yeah.
thing, right? It's not going to be that. It's going to be in its infancy, which it is right now. The people that are so invested in AI, these companies that have everything invested in AI. The GDP, like our GDP, is most of it is because of AI, growing because of AI. If that
Mm.
collapses, that bubble bursts, like it's going to be catastrophic. But anyway, to the doomsday scenario, it's not going to be that robots take over the world, which would be fun to talk about, which we have before. It's going to be constantly pushing AI, utilizing AI modules, and just dumbing down humanity's capability of critical and being able to discern what's AI and what's
That's the key.
that's the problem, right? It's even happening right now. Like
Yeah.
you will scroll through something and I will look at a video and I'm like, that's AI. And then you'll have these, okay, not a PG episode. You'll have these fucking morons. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe that. Like, do you not have any type of critical thinking skills? That's the doomsday scenario. That
I'll
we
do you one
lose
worse.
all capability
Yeah.
to function as a civilization without artificial intelligence. I use AI for augmentative purposes as it's supposed to be. It's like I write a paragraph like that's this freaking long. I will
Mhm.
pop that into an AI module and ask it specifically, what would you remove that is considered fluff so I can make this concise?
Yeah.
That's what it's supposed to be used for, not to freaking run
And
You
then the
said you
person
were
you're
worrying about ranting? I'm ranting.
the person you send that to, so this is how it works. So like somebody is working in an office in the lower rung and they're like, hey, I got to do this task, so let me ask AI to craft it for me, and then I'll tweak it. And then they get this beautifully crafted thing, and then the person lower rung sends it to their middle level manager, and the middle level manager uses AI to interpret it. Hey, this 3-page report, dumb it down for me, AI. And then it takes it down to a page, and then the boss goes to brief the CEO, and he has this like 1-pager, and then the CEO just takes the 1-pager and
It makes it
condense
into a
this into
paragraph.
two sentences for me. And it's just
That's
just
exactly what it is.
just think about the insanity of that. But let me do you one better. I'm starting to realize, as it's shaping before my eyes, I don't think the destabilizing problem in society with AI is not that we have false information that's blasted out to the general public. We've had that for hundreds of years.
Oh,
False
yeah.
papers, false statements, all that's like inflammatory, like all that shit's been going on for many, many years. I don't think that's going to be the destabilizing factor. But here's what is. I saw recently a couple examples that shook me because I didn't even think about this sort of thing happening, but apparently it is happening right now as we speak because there's actual confirmed news stories about it. Use case number one. So we have somebody posting on TikTok about being an Etsy seller. So apparently they sell Etsy perfume bottles, and that's how they make their living, right? They mix their own perfume, they bottle them, they sell them on Etsy, they ship them or whatever, Shopify, whatever it is. So this example was a person received their packaging and claimed that the bottles were leaking and cracked. They were shipped improperly and they were trying to get a full refund. But if you look at the pictures, and it was discovered, actually, I think this was on Reddit. You could probably find it on Reddit. Everybody who has even half a brain, and the people who actually have full brains in AI, they looked at this and like, yeah, that's 100% AI. Like, look how the thing is, look how the thing is dripping out, how fast it's dripping out. If it came shipped like that, it would be empty by the time it got there. So this is 100% bullshit AI. So what's the implication there? The implication is we are now living in a scenario in an economy where people will use AI to send pictures to the seller to try to get their money back. And it's all fabricated. It's not real. They're literally lying through their teeth using AI to try to help them do that. And it's probably working initially, but like, what does that look like in the long term? I really think that's destabilizing for our economy, because that's a lot of potential tied up in the courts situations and issues. And I think that's going to throw a wrench in it. And then one more quick one. Okay, so this is this second example, really quick. It's a quicker but also somehow worse example, or like a terrible thing that's happening with AI than the first one. So imagine you're accused of domestic violence, right, with your significant other, and whatever goes on, you split up, you separate, whatever the courts decide doesn't matter, is irrelevant. Months go down the line. Suddenly you have a knock on your door. It's the police. You've violated, or you've strike two or whatever, you violated something, or you have a strike two, because the police have evidence of you being near this person at some party, or maybe it's a picture or video, even a video of you accosting this person. And then the person shows up, the other person had shown up to the police officer or the police, a week ago, and they had like given themselves scars and bruises on their own arms and legs or whatever. And they show up and like, oh my God, my significant other who I broke up with, whatever, they found me and they beat me. And then not only did they show the scratch marks and stuff, there's like, here's proof, here's physical proof, a video of them hitting me at this party or something like that. Person gets arrested. Come to find out, it was fully AI generated. The person was not even anywhere near. They had no intention of hurting the significant other. That's the destabilizing part in society, because the local and even the state level federal law enforcement is nowhere near equipped of thinking of what AI could possibly do at this state and time. So I don't think the destabilizing factor for society is going to be like incorrect news media. I think it's going to be at the state and local level, where this is going to run amok on a widespread scale, and it's just going to be chaos. And then I bet you any money there's going to be talk from the federal level. We have to get in there. We have to show them how to do this right. Maybe we even have to take some power from them because this is getting out of hand. We have to and then that's the justification for more widespread federal level control. I don't know. That's where my mind sees things going. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I just think that progression wise, that might be the most likely scenario. So what's your take? Like, what do you think about that whole
The whole generating of AI videos, what was it, like 5 years ago compared to now with the Will Smith eating spaghetti?
Oh
It's
yeah, I saw that.
so drastically different now.
Yeah.
It actually kind of looks like him eating spaghetti. That's just going to get better. The quality is just going to get better. What I fear is, along with people using that to fabricate things and, get other people in trouble. And you could definitely use that to rile up people. You really don't like a person, and in the public opinion, this person is already on the edge with the public. It's a really good crafted AI video could send someone's life spiraling straight into hell. And on top of that, along with that, dude, we cover a very niche topic, which is paranormal. And within that paranormal umbrella, there's like so many things on true crime, exorcisms, possession, ghost hunting, all that type of stuff. It could easily make creators like us make it more difficult for us.
Yep.
In the sense that we could probably reach out to someone and, let's say we reach out to these people that are claiming to be ghost hunters and they have all this evidence posted, and turns out all their evidence is freaking AI, and that automatically like kills your credibility of what you're
Good
trying
point.
to do and all this other stuff. So I think that could be harmful for the paranormal community in general, especially, for these businesses that have ghost hunts and ghost tours and stuff like that. If you have evidence like posted on your wall, like actual pictures, like photographic evidence that are not digital, people could just easily claim, well, that's AI. And you know what? I'm not going to waste my time with this because it's not real. So that's where I see it going. There's so many avenues of where this can go wrong. And for example, like with some of these companies, like going full into AI, basic computer parts, RAM is literally like $2,000. for
I saw
what
that.
is it? Yeah, which is nuts. So that's not only that's like literally pricing people out of parts and equipment they would need if they would wanna do something like we're doing today.
This has to be understood because at least even if you can't stop the freight train from coming, at least you can choose to see the freight train coming at you and just be aware of it because
Or
you might get
sidestep the
lucky if
damn
you're
thing.
or sidestep. Yeah. So here's the thing. You it's I know this is I don't know how to say this without pissing some people off, but listen,
Say it.
we're not the smartest people, right? And but when
Speak
I
for
say that, I
yourself.
don't
Like
hold on. No, you're not the smartest person. I'm
Oh,
not the
no, I'm
smartest
not.
person.
I
Anybody
admit
listening
that.
is not the smartest person. So here's the thing. You have to take the pill and swallow the pride and actually accept the fact that we occupy a level in our day-to-day lives where we have to work. Most of us have to work a 9 to 5. We have families, all that stuff that takes away from our ability to dedicate to whatever. And then also there's like, whatever. You get what I'm saying? So like we're not at the upper echelons of intelligence, right? Let me tell you, the people who have the growing power utilizing AI, advanced robotics and all that, the people who understand that stuff, they might not be much smarter than us, but they are able to buy and hire people and algorithms and all that stuff much more capable than us, right? So you have to swallow the pill and be like, okay, these people are now they have been operating on a higher level of intelligence than us for actually probably at least 5+ years, maybe even more. What happens if you have a 5+ lead on the average person in planning? This goes back to what I brought up in past podcasts. Cambridge Analytica. Where did all this start? Freaking Cambridge Analytica. The ability for a company to acquire massive amounts of data and not just own the data and hold it, but also analyze it and figure out trends in society. This also goes into commercialism, consumerism. What do you consume? They want to do facial recognition when you walk in the store. When this person comes in on Thursday, he's probably looking for X. Let's get him a 5% discount on X and aisle Y. Like this is the level of attention that they're giving to figuring out how to read the average person. And you have to accept, it's a hard pill to swallow. You have to accept that you are finite. You have a certain amount of input and output that can be interpreted by a higher intelligence. That's what AI is offering. People who know how to read other people at a higher level, and artificial intelligence makes it faster and easier to do so. Like we are literally fucked, dude. Like this, like I'm telling you right now that the only way I see this going like 90% sure in the next 100 years is advanced robotics, artificial intelligence, and the ultra elite who have billions and approaching trillions of dollars in their control, who can literally buy and sell governments. They have more money than whole countries. We're going back to fiefdom. We're going back to a point in time where a small amount techno feudalism, where like so the ultra elite, and it's going on between the US and China. Who can get the best AI? Because it doesn't matter if your AI is like, let's peg your AI to like your AI is at 3000, the year 3026. That's the level your AI is at. Well, if China or the US is AI is at the year 3027 or even 3000, the year 3026 and a half, that's the one who's going to win because it's going to be an AI war of attrition. Who has the tightest AI that can subvert the other AI and decimate the enemy? And it's not just going to go on between state powers. It's going to go on between these fiefdoms, these feudalistic powers of ultra rich. And let me give you one more food for thought before I stop my rant. Back to our Caligula point. Back to our Saint Bart's pin the tail on the poor person point. If you give a single person or a small group of people unprecedented power in human history, I'm talking about advanced robotics. Like, let's say advanced robots can cater to their every whim. They no longer need people. They don't need a flesh and body person to give them all the pleasures and needs in life. They can literally have their robots make their food or grow their food, synthesize their food, make their food. They can get all of their proclivities, all of their, fun little things taken care of, SGX. They can do anything they want. Sex dolls, let's say it, like, the ultra realistic sex dolls that we know they're working on, like people are working on. That shit is right down the pike.
Gross.
Sure, but if you're a billionaire and it satisfies your needs and you can pay, $500,000 per bot and you could buy an army of them for your harem, you no longer need people. So people become superfluous. And not only do they become superfluous, the people who are in power also have the means to get rid of the superfluous nature of people. That is, my friends, the culmination of where we're heading. I'm not saying it's for sure. I'm saying maybe we can, pull something out of our back pocket as humanity. Maybe we'll have some miracle pull through. I don't know. But that's that. I'm telling you right now, that is the direction we're heading right now. People are going to be so powerful with so many resources and so many assets, and they're going to have everything they want and need. They're going to come to the conclusion that all the rest of us below the top 1% are superfluous and unnecessary. Bam, wiped out with, some kind of biological weapon that was made with CRISPR, or bam, enslaved by ultra fast, ultra powerful robots that they literally have been amassing in the deserts of Arizona for, the last 15 years, millions, whatever, kind of like, what's that Will Smith movie?
iRobot?
iRobot.
Yeah.
Something, something like that. Like that shit is literally facing us, staring us down the barrel. There's nothing we can do right now. And it scares the ever loving bejesus fuck out of me. Oh man, we're screwed. Anyway, how's your day going? Smile. Happy. Keep going with life. Whee! By the way, let me put it out there real quick. I put all this conspiratorial stuff out there in the world for people to hear. I no intentions of giving up. I have no intentions of like throwing myself off a cliff. So let's, people have been caveat, but no, you understand why I'm saying that, right? Like people have been caveating that on TikTok when they bring up conspiratorial stuff. They're like, I have no intentions of self-harm. I have no intentions of doing anything terrible. So if the implication is if I end up like that, then somebody made it happen, not the
Right.
person. So like, let's just make that clear.
These are just hypotheticals.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just hypotheticals. I mean, all the hypothetical crap we've talked about, like what are the odds of that happening? Because there's just so many variables. There's just so many variables. The one variable is that people will get along with each other. And that is not just for regular everyday people. That goes same for those folks that would own those AI industries and stuff like that. There's no guarantee they're gonna get along. I mean, the human ego is something that you cannot plan because you just don't know.
Yeah.
Because the calmest, kindest person, if they get insulted enough and affronted enough, they will turn. We all can do it. We all can do it. We all have that capability. So I think that's probably the one positive in all of these hypothetical scenarios that we talk about. It's like the perfect storm type of thing, but you always got to insert the human component into it. For example, you can draw up as many battle plans as you want. You insert the variable of your generals, your captains, your soldiers. If they're not up to it, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
I mean, you could craft the master plan, but if it's not executed properly, it's going to fall on its ass.
Right.
I mean, that's just how life works. How many times in life have you planned out something and then something happened that just completely threw you for a loop? And it doesn't have to be like anything major. It can be literally just every day. For example, like one of my pets is a senior now. I didn't anticipate them getting a thyroid condition and having to drop $800 at the vet for that shit. Can't plan for that. And all the fun conversations that we have, and I've enjoyed this conversation because I kind of got some stuff off my chest, especially with this whole AI crap. And let me make it clear, I'm not one of those mega AI haters. You like Star Wars, right? You know how like the clone troopers, they call them clankers. Like people are online are like, oh, I'm tired of these damn clankers. When they talk to like AI bots, they're like, shut up, clanker type of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not like that type of person. I can see the positive uses for it. But my fear is just with anything, it's just an over reliance on it because it just takes you down the wrong path. Too much of anything is bad.
Yeah.
And too much of that can literally lead to a doomsday. I personally.
And just a fun thought, we also wonder why there's such a lack of intelligence, extraterrestrial intelligence that we could find. Like if we point outward into the universe, like why can't we find signatures of other worlds that operate like us? And I think that the theory that is playing more into our reality more so than ever is instead of when you reach a technological advancement state in your civilization, you're going to go from turning outward to turning inward because you're going to have everything you need in your little bubble. Like, why do I want to go out there where there's like death and destruction and like, lesser thans or whatever? Like, I'm just going to turn inward and have pleasure and existence in my little bubble forever.
The last thing I'll
yeah.
say, I'm sorry to cut you off.
No,
It's
go
like
ahead, man. Go ahead.
like, have you seen The Grinch with Jim Carrey?
Mm-hmm.
When he's like sitting there on the recliner, he's like, why would I want to go out there? I got everything I need right here.
Right here. Yeah.
That's
exactly
it in a nutshell.
Yeah. I think that's where we're heading.
But buddy, I think this was a fun one. The conversation started off pretty morbid with that news report, but I
Had to talk
couldn't
about it.
not talk about it. And then the
Yeah.
whole thing with the super yachts and the parties and all that stuff. Folks, this is all in good fun. So,
Yeah.
just
Hope you
take it
enjoyed
all. Yeah, we hope you enjoyed it. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you have any thoughts about particularly about the bone selling people, leave a comment if you're watching on YouTube, or shoot us an email with your thoughts, twroadpodcast@gmail.com. I will also say that if you are watching us on YouTube and you enjoy our content, please subscribe, please share, leave a like, leave a comment. It helps the show grow and it helps us pump out some fun content for all of you. Again,
And
hope
if you
enjoy-
if you don't like Chris's face, don't downvote. Just be nice.
I
If
can't
you think
help
Chris
it.
is
I got a face for radio, I look like the Crypt Keeper. That one
sweatshirt saves
movie.
it. Oh yeah.
The Lord of the Rings sweatshirt that my wife got me
Hell
for
yeah.
Christmas. It's like the little fellowship when they're on their first
Classic.
journey from Rivendell. Yeah. And the last thing I'll say is that this episode is going to come out on what is today's date? Today's the 9th. It's going to come out on the 16th. And that weekend is officially the 25th anniversary of the release of The Fellowship of the Ring. And they are re-releasing all 3 movies on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I will be going all 3 days and forcing my poor wife to sit in the movie theater each day for 4.5 hours.
With all the other nerds.
Yeah.
Where's my popcorn?
Yeah. Yep.
You're gonna be sitting in like the rows and be like, you see, in the third sequel, in the second iteration of the Lord of the, and then someone else will be like, well, no, you see, it's actually the Crown of Zinfandel, and that's just gonna be back and forth.
And I'd be the one to tell people to shut the fuck up because I just want to watch the movie.
You're the alpha nerd.
My nerddom has limits, okay?
Yeah. Hey yo, shut the fuck up.
Sounded
We're all
like Carl.
nerds.
It sounded
Yeah.
like Carl. Hey, oh, shut the fuck up. We'll end it there, folks. Hope you enjoyed today's episode and love putting up with our banter.
Happy New Year.
Oh yeah, Happy New Year.
You've reached the end of tonight's journey on the Wandering Road. The show is written and produced by me, Chris, and my co-host, Dean. If you've got a scary story of your own, or if you'd like to join us as a guest, send your tale to twroadpodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to follow us on social media for more haunted fun. And if you enjoyed tonight's episode, please rate, review, and share the show. It helps keep the lantern burning for fellow travelers. Until next time, keep your eyes on the road and your mind in the shadows, because the wandering never ends.